Alright, so today's video is just kind of a fun video here. I got quite a few questions regarding the Sigma 18 to 35 being used as a vlogging lens. Now, I personally don't know, I don't think I would want to use it as a vlogging lens just because of the weight. And Fuji has a lot better options when it comes to video lenses that are smaller and lighter and that sort of thing. The only, I would say, benefit of using the lens would be the 1.8 aperture. It's just kind of nice and you can get a little bit of blurry background. So right now it is on the XH1 with the fringer adapter. I'm sorry about the bird, but if I wait for him to go away, we might be here forever. In any case, I mean, just in general, in my opinion, Fuji cameras aren't the best for vlogging just because you don't have that reverse, that flip out screen. Right now, the only thing Fuji has that lets you know that things are still going well in terms of it being recorded is the tally light. But other than that, without the flip screen, you don't know if you're exactly in frame and all that. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but there are definitely a huge benefit to having a flip screen. So before I start, this is an XH1, so I think it would be the best possible camera to use out of all the Fujis for vlogging, just because it has the IBIS, which is going to make a huge difference. Fuji's IBIS isn't the best, but I think it's compared to, let's say, Panasonic's, even Olympus. But I think it works decent enough, especially for something like vlogging. The camera, the settings, I have the dynamic range set to 100. ISO is set to auto, so right now if things are blown out, it's a kind of we got a lot of hard light coming in here. But if things are blown out, that's just the way auto ISO is working. So I want to kind of really test how you would typically set a camera for this sort of vlogging style shoot. So ISO is at like I said, auto. Aperture is at 1.8, so it's wide open for the Sigma. Right now it is at 18 millimeters. I mean, that's how you would, I think, use this lens at its widest point. What else do we have? We're on Eterna. The only thing I have adjusted on Eterna is that it's at -2 on the shadows. So I'm hoping it'll kind of, otherwise I think it might be a little too contrasty on a day like this. So anyways, I think that's it for this segment. Let's try to, do a little bit walking with it and see how the focal length works out for me, and as well as the IBIS. Alright, let's try that again. So 24 frames per second. The autofocus setting is at, I think it's multi-area it's called. I'll write it down somewhere if that's not what it's called. Anyways, 18, like I said, 18 millimeters at its widest point. And my arm is stretched out, just holding it from the bottom of the camera. I'm not walking in any special way to, dampen the just regularly walking. In my opinion, it's probably going to be too tight. Face detect is on, if that makes a difference. I think it does, especially for something like this. But my arms already started to get a little too, I'm feeling it. But again, in my opinion, 18 millimeters, which is a full frame equivalent of about 28 or 27, something like that. It's a little too tight for this sort of video, but I think it's doable, but a little too tight in my opinion. Alright, so now this is with the GorillaPod kind of Casey Neistat, thing. I think it's called a GorillaPod, the Joby, the biggest one I think they have. Yeah, this is even, of course, now the weight of now we have the added weight of the GorillaPod, plus the weight is further away, so now it's heavier. I guess if you're doing like travel vlogs where you're just going to be doing a little bit of this sort of thing, it's okay. But I could not see myself using this setup all the time. Like I said, if this is the lens you have and you only want to travel on lens, it's doable. But I can, like, my hand is, shaky, which is kind of counteracting the IBIS, which I just don't think I would use this. I think the Fuji's 10 to 24 is lighter. Yeah, it's only f4, so you're not going to get the fast aperture and you're not going to get the nice blurry backgrounds, but this is way too heavy. I think it looks nice actually, the image quality and all that, but it's not the way to go. So I mean, the framing is definitely better this way. You get that little bit of, more kind of space around you, so you can kind of it just kind of gives a better vlogging experience. But yeah, the weight, the IBIS, I think it works okay. You know, Fuji's IBIS has got that little twitchiness to it. The GH5 does it too, but definitely the Fujifilm is a little bit worse when it comes to that. I don't know if this is the ideal setup, just because of the weight, but I'm gonna admit I do kind of like the way it looks. So if you're doing limited vlogging, I could see, or you know, this sort of thing where you're in front of the camera yourself and you know, holding it and walking as you go along, then I guess you know, it's good. It's fine. It's actually great, I think. But if you're doing this a lot, I don't know, you're gonna have huge arms by the time you're done with this, that or back problems. In any case, I think that's it for this video. I was gonna compare it to the X-T3, and yeah, this is getting heavy. I was gonna compare it to the X-T3, but I left it home. I forgot it at the last minute. We did forget that camera, so I might make a second part to this video just to show the difference that the XH1's IBIS makes. I know a lot of people kind of down the XH1, but I think it's kind of an underrated camera actually, especially for videographers. Anyways, that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys next time.
Alright, so just some quick thoughts and opinions now that I've come home and actually looked at the footage that I did. So the XH1, first of all, I was pretty satisfied with the autofocus. I know there was plenty of times where it was kind of going out there, but considering that it is an adapted lens with the with the fringer adapter that I use, I think it does pretty well. If you're just kind of holding it still for the most part, if you have nothing for this sort of thing, it works well. This is being recorded with the X-T3 and the same Sigma 18-35 lens, except it's now at the 35 side of the lens. The IBIS, yeah, there is some shake. I'm going to be doing a follow-up video comparing another lens, which is the 16mm, the Fuji's own 16mm f1.4, to see how that works as a, I think, much better option over the Sigma's 18-35 lens. Again, I don't think I would personally ever use that lens as a kind of dedicated vlogging lens. It's one thing if I'm using the setup for a video project or for a photo project and then decide to turn the camera on myself and just capture a quick minute of talking to the camera, that's fine. But if you're really doing kind of travel videos and vlogging type videos where you're constantly going to be having the camera facing at you, I think that yeah, it's just not ideal to me. I like the image quality. I like the way it blurs out the background at 1.8. So I'm okay with it. I don't know that I would recommend it really though. I think we're gonna have a lot more success with the 16mm 1.4. I will, for the next test though, make sure I do bring out the X-T3 with me so I can kind of do the comparisons of how it looks with the IBIS versus not having the IBIS. Because to me it does make a huge difference. Even with the XH1 on this, with the Sigma, in my opinion, it was at the acceptable range of shakiness while not being too distracting. Because I think there does come to a point where the shakiness can be a distraction when you're trying to watch somebody's video, and it's just it can be kind of dizzying. So I think, like I said, with the Sigma, it was kind of at that border. And again, I think I could have done a better job had it been a little bit less heavy. I wasn't putting a lot of effort into keeping it smooth, but I think when most of us are vlogging or doing that sort of thing, we're not sitting there doing the ninja walk, and we're just kind of being more casual about things and that. Now, when I was still with it for the few times that I just kind of towards the end there, I was kind of still with it, then it was perfect for that, if you're doing that kind of thing, or if most of your vlogging style is on a tripod or on a little kind of table stand, that kind of thing, then I don't see any reason why not. But I definitely think Fuji has some native options that are a lot better. Anyways, this is the first part of this little kind of quick series that I'm making on the different options on vlogging with Fuji. I think it's that you can vlog with it, but like I said, the fact that it's missing that flip screen, so it's kind of a pain, just because of the exposure. So you're kind of forced to use auto ISO, which I don't always want to use, but you know, it's kind of like your best option. I do have the tally light going, so like in this case, I'm sitting here on a tripod and I know that I am recording it. But for example, when I was just now at the park during one of the videos, the battery on the microphone ran out, and luckily it was during a kind of a test take that I was doing. I noticed the light blinking red, but when it was facing the other way, I can't tell. Had I had a flip screen, I would have seen that the bars on the mic level stopped bouncing, and I would have noticed perhaps that the batteries had died. It didn't affect my main take because I was able to squeeze that little bit out of the battery to get that, and luckily it just affected a little test footage I was doing of trying to set the exposure properly. In any case, that concludes this first part of this video. And while the video was shot on a turner, there was a slight color grading just to fix the white balance, because being out in the park, it was, you know, all that green kind of put a lot of a green cast on everything, on my face and whatever. So I did a little bit of white balance correction just to fix that, as well as just a little bit more you know, saturation and contrast. Anyways, that's it for this video, and I guess I'll see you guys next time.